to another Toy Brothers Super Show. That's right. Right here on the Arson Brothers Network. I am A.B. McFarlane, joined by my sidekick.
One ABJr, Luke Griffith.
ABJr, Luke.
One half of the Junior Clan.
That's right. The Junior Gang coming up strong right behind us. You know?
That is right.
But we are here together in the hashtag Arson Studio today.
The place to be.
That's right. Not a ton of these we end up together in the studio, really.
No, usually separate.
Yeah, and a lot of times on a hunt or something of that, of course, such as our first episode of this season, where we hunted at Kazakon, a convention up in Beckley, West Virginia, and the surrounding area, including quite the debacle at Walmart. We nearly
tore it down.
We caused some problems, not on purpose.
But was it worth it?
Oh, it was worth it. Go back, watch episode 1. You'll see. But this is, and worth noting again, because this is our second episode of season 2 here, but worth noting, we have rebranded.
We have indeed. Because
last season, as you very well may know, we were Funko Brothers Super Show, and we still love and do Funko products, of course.
If not more.
But even at that period in time, and constantly, we do other stuff. Older lines, newer stuff, NECA, McFarlane, as you know right here, we're about to review, and just different things. So we decided to change it up to Toy Brothers Super Show and cover it all.
All of it.
And now we have a podcast either out or coming out, depending on when this episode comes out.
Yeah.
The Toy Brothers Super Podcast, fittingly named. Right?
That's going to be fun.
Yes, we're looking forward to that venture. You can find that on, we're through Anchor FM. I know you can find it through their service, but also Spotify, and it should be on Apple Podcasts and all major podcast platforms eventually, but be on the lookout for that. That should be out or coming out very soon. So we're excited for that. But today, we're here to do a little review.
That's right. We got McFarlane Toys, Game of Thrones figures, the newest wave.
That's right, the newest
including
wave.
the bigger piece, the dragon.
Yeah, these have not been out long at all. The dragon's actually just been out, sitting on there about maybe 2 weeks at this point, something of that nature. I know this is something. I, of course, a huge Game of Thrones fan. Luke here, not as familiar with the franchise.
No, I've never watched any of it, but I can appreciate these figures. These figures are where it's at.
That's what I was going to say. But, of course, he appreciates a good figure, and I think does have plans to dive into the Game of Thrones universe
this year.
So, nonetheless, but we wanted to come do a little review of these, and we're just going to dive right in.
Let's go.
We'll start with Daenerys Targaryen, of course. And I really like this one as well. I think the face on this one is a really nice scan of... pretty true to form, at least for the show, which is what they're going for. And she does come with the war strategy pieces.
Yeah, I like the eyes look good.
Yeah, I think that's a fine looking figure. She looks
this piece, I guess what, half cape.
Yeah, like a little half cape size
really
thing,
cool.
and that's really represents her family Targaryen bloodline. Is what that's to represent, at least for when she wore it on the show. So I thought that was nice. It transitioned to figure very well. I really like that one. I think the hair, the braids, which are significant, obviously, to anyone who watches the show, to her throughout the series, and they're done very finely. The hair sculpt and all looks very nice.
It's worth noting that all these come with a branded stand.
Yeah, it's a little Game of Thrones branded stand, and I think that's nice. They all stand well. And, so...
They even stand alright without them, but,
they do.
It's cool to come with them.
Yes.
Because, the display will look good like that.
But that first one there, Daenerys, I think it's a very nice figure.
These aren't too much either, retail, for what you're
getting. I think they're $19.99. The Dragon, $29.99 to $34.99, depending on where you find it.
And I would say that these faces lean toward SH.
Yeah, they're nice. I mean, they're for sure like Black Series quality, if not a little more at times.
Yeah, it's always, that's...
Moving on, we have Jon Snow, of course. And
I like this one.
Yeah, he comes with like a knife, and then of course with Longclaw, his famous sword. And I think it's very nice. I think the
beard looks good.
mold, yeah, it's very nice. Looks a lot like Kit Harington, of course.
And they've kind of went around the problem that I have with action figures with like plastic little things like this. It's really soft, so you can move it around plenty.
Right.
But like usually these are kind of hard. You can't really.
Yeah.
But you know you can do whatever.
Yeah, they're very, very forgiving and in a good way. 'Cause you can
Yeah.
move them around a bit. He has, let me see there, the Stark family crest right there on the shield, just like he's supposed to. Yeah, perfect. The hair looks good, spot on with his infamous man bun. So yeah, he looks like he's brooding in the north, which is what John really likes to do. So.
Same exact base. They're the same bases.
Yeah, so again, I really like that one as well.
Yeah, this one's real sick.
Next up would be Arya Stark, and she came with her sword Needle. I was sort of ragging on this sword earlier, but the more I look at it, it's pretty good representation, really.
I like this accessory.
And the cat's paw dagger there, that's very nice. They did this a very famous weapon, of course. Anyone who watches it, yeah, they really, really nailed this. I really like that.
The face has the rosy cheeks.
Yeah, the face
I guess that's accurate. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a pretty good Arya. I think it's a little less than the John and the Danny that we saw so far, just a touch. But I also feel it's hard to do. Say a character of Macy Williams, who is, I mean, they probably started working on these figures a year ago, if not more.
Yeah.
And she's a younger person in real life, if you will. So I mean, it's hard to do that because they age just a little differently.
Right.
I feel like that's my opinion, but it's fantastic nonetheless.
Yeah.
I'm not
kind of like the Stranger Things figures. Those kids are good.
Yeah, it's kind of harder. I feel like as you're adult, you don't change as much of your looks as you go. But nonetheless, I love this figure. I like the size because it is perfectly sized for the shorter Arya, of course.
Size more?
AB size?
Not here.
He is not
today.
Here. Not today. I'm sure soon enough you can find him on miniseries here.
WV Eats bump.
Yeah, WV Eats. We'll go ahead and give him a plug. His famous show, WV Eats, where he, as a Virginian, comes to West Virginia and tries some of the finer foods.
That was your commercial break.
Yeah, that's right. A little plug.
Next up is this is one of the cool, probably the best one.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Well, I really like Viserion, but as far as the actual just standing figures, yes,
the accessories,
the Night King with the just giant ice dagger and
nice
sword, basically.
Pieces on those.
Yeah, the translucency looks good. The face sculpt on this one is dynamite, and I guess it's just a little easier because he is not like a human featured face. I mean, it is a human playing that character.
I always think that non-human characters will always probably look the best in figures.
It just seems to transition better. But yeah, I love this. It is my favorite of the.
And that's a character that anybody can recognize. That's your new Darth Vader, kind of.
Right.
He's worthy of that status now.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I mean, I know this guy.
Yeah. Everyone knows the Night King now. Yeah.
AT&T knows the Night King.
No, that they do very well. They love the Night King. I'm sure they've racked up big time.
Yeah.
HBO, AT&T, all one company now. I mean, and the weird part about things, it's all.
Yeah, I was in AT&T in Princeton the other day, and they had so much Game of Thrones stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's just posters and stuff everywhere.
And then, last but certainly not least,
no, not to scale either.
Viserion. No, not to scale.
I don't guess. I wouldn't assume it's.
Oh no. It's far from scale, but also it doesn't look out of place.
No.
Standing with these figures though, like you can see from some of our shots, we had him sort of up behind / over some of the figures there. So not to scale, but it really works.
It's on a ball joint.
It's on a ball joint, which
comes off easy too. I guess if you wanted him on the ground.
Yeah, you can have them landing or what have you. Well, no, I like the ball joint, I like the base, a little icy bottom base. I like the detail, the holes in the wings. I think that is just fantastic. And of course, yes,
it comes out if you want to do the no.
Yeah, if you want no breathing ice fire, as odd a statement of that is, I don't know how else to say it, but
one thing that I thought this was kind of more of a statue, but you kind of get some.
Yeah, it's got good articulation.
The tail has all kinds of.
You can do up and down tail movements, wing flapping.
You can do arm. Those are his arms.
I mean, if someone who could do the stop motion, they could make a really cool scene with that figure because of the articulation. Meaning it's that articulated.
I dig this figure.
I really like it, and
it stands out on any shelf.
Oh yeah. Well, to say that, your dad, fellow ABJr Griffith,
He walked.
Yeah, he walked. You were here. Walked in the other day, and he's not. He plans to watch the show. He's watched a little bit of it, but
season 1.
Yeah, but he walked in and immediately saw it. I was like, "Whoa!" and just went straight to it. So it is an eye-catching piece, and it stands up.
It's
in the air
cheap
a bit.
for what you get too. It's what,
yeah,
like $25.
It's $29.99 some places and $34.99. I think I got it for like $32.99 from Amazon. I did a pre-order just so I could lock it down.
I saw this around now. It's like an FYE. I guess it's anywhere if you want one.
Yeah, I think
Target.
it's at Books of Millions now.
Yeah.
But it's out, and we now know that Drogon, a second dragon, will be coming in June, I believe it is.
I wonder if it's a repaint or.
It didn't look to be at all, and
Yeah.
it shouldn't be because they're very different. And it didn't look to be. We'll find out.
You're getting that one soon.
I've already got it pre-ordered.
Oh,
Yeah, ready for that
there
one.
you go.
And that means at some point, I imagine we'll get a Rhaegal, the third dragon, from the show.
I'm sure.
I wouldn't see why not.
I'm sure this thing did well.
Yeah.
I'm sure the set did well.
I think so. It's very nice. But so I imagine we'll get that third one eventually. But yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, as a figure collector and fan, and as a Game of Thrones fan, I love this wave. I jumped on it immediately. I mean, pretty much almost the day they came out.
It was pretty much that day that they came out.
Yeah. And then locked down Viserion, and now Drogon. But
so, do you have a favorite of the wave?
Of this wave, my favorite it's it's Viserion, but of the standing figures, it's the Night King.
You know, I'm gonna make a bold statement. I don't know anything about this show. The Night King is nice, but I think this one right here is really good.
Yeah, the Daenerys is
That's
very
a super
nice.
recognizable figure.
Yes,
like, in terms of a good figure, this one is really good.
The John's really good too, man. It's a good wave. It's a good wave. I hope they do more. I hope they continue. I know it seems odd because the show is literally ending as of time of recording tonight, but I still feel like.
Now here's the real question: similar to the Walking Dead wave like this, will we get some of the big 10-inch figure scale of these, like a giant Night King figure?
I guess depending on how well they did. Wonder if they just got the license this late. Wonder if they've been wanting to make them for a while.
Probably.
I hope they continue. I hope they do well though, because I'm sure. I'll show around.
Yeah, for sure. These are sick.
But that's going to about wrap up this one. We just wanted to come at you with a little review of these cool figures. And I think that's what the next few episodes are going to be. Just some figure reviews of some stuff we've got. You never can tell when we'll sneak a toy hunt in, though.
Oh, we sneak one in unexpectedly all the time.
That we do, so we'll bring that to you if it happens, of course. But anything for you, sir?
No, buy these figures.
Yeah,
these figures are good figures.
Well, for ABJr Luke Griffith, myself, AB Cline, on behalf of course, all of us here at the Arson Brothers Network, thank you very much for watching. I ask that you please subscribe to our channel, like this video. All these things, really helps us out. We're continually trying to grow. Check out our podcast, the Arson Brothers Show, another podcast, but our specific podcast, Toy Brothers Super Podcast. The little bell button beside of subscribe there, if you click it, it will actually give you notifications when we post a new video, if you'd like to keep up with us like that. And of course, we are all over social media. Arson Brothers are on every platform. You can look us up there. Toy Brothers Super Show right here. We have our own Instagram page that we post stuff we get, news, things of that nature. We do a fun little game in the story of that. Tell them about that.
This game is Smash or Pass. And we essentially just post newer toy releases, and you decide yourself what you smash or what you pass.
It's a fun little way to keep up with what's coming out. All toy, any news of new releases, anything we see that gets announced, we post a pic there, put up one of the poll things, smash or pass. So it's a good way to see what's coming out.
It's a great way to help you plan what you want to buy.
It is, and a fun little way to keep up with. So check that out. That's Toy Brothers Super Show on Instagram, Arson Brothers on all social media. We'll be back again for another review soon. Stay hooked on the
Brothers.